Welcome friends, the Tipsy Seer here with another fantastic fable. Today's focus is titled Nathan's Neurological Narrative, a story about a brain named Nathan who lived in a large cave called Angus. The main theme is our hard-working brain coping with physical and mental changes and the attempts to control the outside world. We all know how sometimes we make decisions that we reflect back on and ask, why did I do this? This story looks at those scenarios from a different perspective. Find a comfortable position and let me take you on the story of the day. To start, there is some things you must know about me. I live in a dark cave. I never leave the cave, although sometimes it feels like I do. I am rested against a comfortable armor made of a hard substance. Here's me, seated in a center console surrounded by all sorts of gauges, levers and buttons. Although I'm generally safe with my hard outer shell, I installed 2 live streaming cameras that show the outside world to the cave 24/7. But who would want to live out there anyway? My name is King Nathan. I am the ruler of this land. Outside voices have named my cave Angus. Not my choice. I went with the cave of echoes and lights, but the outside world can be difficult. I am the king of my domain in a universe filled with different kingdoms, all ruled by kings and queens. Some I see regularly, others through distant voices and images through my camera feed. As I progress through each day, I see and learn new things and rely on my cave systems to harvest energy so I can function. Some days though, Angus the Cave does a horrible job at providing what I need. But given he is a glorified lump of organic minerals, he does okay. I mentioned earlier about the levers and gauges that I have in my control panel. These are my monitoring devices for some of my hardware that I need throughout the cave. As an example, I installed air intake-outtake pipes that provide a filtration for the oxygen I need throughout the cave to function. These come through a vent that is located on the surface that I can close and open at will. The other main hardware component that is located in the central cavity is a 4-chambered engine that provides a power source to send a special liquid fuel throughout the body. The air filtration system provides an oxygenated component of the 4-chambered engine's special liquid fuel. The fuel is used to power various grabbers and levers that I need to obtain my energy source. Although some days I wish I could get my cave to work on these levers and grabbers a little bit to provide a higher yield in the amount of weight I can lift. But that's life sometimes. An interesting phenomenon occurred last week. A funny green tinted smoke drifted through the ventilation system. It couldn't be filtered very well, so my gauges and levers started going crazy and started to rise, and the smoke started to curl around the main control room. It's not an unpleasant smell, but we do get behind as we sit and unwind. Once it clears, we are back to the daily grind. The to-do list is still there, but sometimes it is productive to switch it off occasionally. I have heard tales of other kingdoms being very unproductive due to this ventilation issue. That is not my hardware for now. On my console, there is a plastic lid. Under that lid is a big red button. This button is my panic button. All kingdoms have access to a panic button. There is danger everywhere after all. Should I push it? That flower looks suspicious. How am I to know if it doesn't want to overthrow me and take my land? Click. That's it, cave. Engage propulsion systems and evade. Mission accomplished. I feel safe again. I think it's time for my cave to return to its idle state. Yes, good. Shutters down. Hang on. I have these ideas and thoughts in my idea thought database. Let's do a system check right now and run all those files. It's not like a non-sentient cave has to do anything on the next sun cycle. To attain my fuel source, there are certain rituals that my cave does. It goes into a seated position for the day. Then I assist the cave by providing the use of the myodrolic lifters and grabbers to push symbols on a plastic rectangle that equate to a command prompt that is projected onto a similar device to my own mainframe, but far less complex. All sorts of different kingdoms do all sorts of rituals like this to obtain the necessary fuel inputs. After each 7-day sun and moon cycle, we are given some tokens for a fuel supply warehouse where we can select the fuel needed for the week. Often, however, the cave will find its way to a building, opens the hatch for the liquid intake pipe and consumes a strange liquid that has a lot of the water I need, but it's mixed with some sort of organic fermented product. The liquid creates a pleasant sensation, but the gyroscopic unit for overall balance gets affected. This is solved by a sleep cycle and a full system purge. Caves are unintelligent after all, similar to a sea creature called a jellyfish, so I'm not too harsh on its lowered drive for self-improvement, although I could use some vitamins and minerals that we often don't get. Alright, bud? Maybe less of the potato fried in a fat-based liquid and stored mostly air-filled bags and more fruits. And I'm not talking about upping the intake of fermented fruit juice like you insist on. The issue that we are having due to the poor diet choices is a blockage in the waste management system. I try all known purge commands, but nothing seems to work. Moving on. Apart from a few idiosyncrasies in the overall design, I am happy with my current position. I have been here for 35 of the Earth's complete journeys around the Sun. Each year my kingdom is berated with viruses, structural integrity issues and general maintenance requests, which more often than not, deleted. I always find the correct how-to guide in my operations archive, but I do get a little slower in tracking it down as each year passes. I have many years left on my throne, but I knew a king personally that recently abdicated his throne due to extreme systems failure. I witnessed the moment he gave up command of the console. It is a very interesting yet somber occasion. I will tell you the events of that day just for common knowledge. It was close to the king's 90th year of the creation of his reign. 90 years since that mystical spark unlocked the central console and picked the operator. Not much is known about this act and why certain operators are chosen for certain central consoles, but it's statistically wonderful that we are put in command. That day started like all others. All the pumps, ventilation units, mechanical and electrical units were in full swing until, bing, the king receives a message from the unknown sender. This automatically triggers the shutdown system command prompt. Step 1. All mechanical joint locks in place, causing the cave to go in the supine position. Step 2. All secondary systems such as the antivirus bots, filtration systems and fuel storage systems shut down. Step 3. The outside vents are shut, causing the air filtration system to switch to an energy-saving mode. Step 4. The 4-chambered engine that pushes the muscle-powering fuel around the cave slows to an idle state. Step 5. Both the oxygen ventilation system and the 4-chambered engine that rely on each other switch to critical failure and shut down. Step 6. The lights in the console begins to flicker as the light turns off in sequence. The king knows at this point to press the hidden button in the desk drawer. This causes his office to flood with a pleasant, calming gas. He knows that it is his time. The king slowly rises from his throne, the throne he has championed for near on 90 years. As the remaining lights go out on the console, the only light source left is the low red emergency lights, but even these will go out soon. He looks through the cameras as this picture slowly begins to fade. Did I leave my cave through life with love and care, or did my own impulses ruin chances for it? Or is it someone else entirely? The programmer contemplates his code as it dwindles and crashes. He looks down to the console to see the red numbers counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The red lights went out and darkness fell. A noise from somewhere. Who's there? That's how it happens. A successful reign comes to an end. I hope my reign lasts for that long. Seeing that old king go makes me feel thankful that I have some time left and a secure place to call my own. I wish we were all that lucky. That's the end of our story today, everybody. Today's story focuses around the acceptance that our brain, being the driver of our bodily functions, all the perception of our physical environment, and the starting point of our personality traits, that we can forgive our brain for occasionally aiding us in our decisions that aren't necessarily positive. This does not remove our choice-making capacity, nor does it excuse negative behaviour, only that our brain is only millennia removed from our upright ape ancestors and still gets influenced by animal urges and deep-seated genetic behaviour. The great thing is, my friends, is that we all have this amazing inner power to change. We can question a little voice in our head when it tells us to deter from our own personal morality. We can say, no, I don't want this. No, I don't feel good doing this. Or no, this can't go on. While our society grows upwards and outwards around us, humans throughout history will always simply be humans throughout history. All of us can change the world through small positive acts, become better people, and help carry the load of our society's members who cannot bear the weight alone. In the end, history won't remember you or I, as it only remembers the few, but these few are impacted by the positive or negative actions of all the people history forgot. Let's change their story.